that, O bhikkhus, again, when walking, he clearly knows I am walking. When standing, he clearly knows I am standing. When sitting, he clearly knows I am sitting. When lying down, he clearly knows I am lying down. Or accordingly, whatever posture of the body, he clearly knows of it. So this is the second aspects of contemplation of the body, right? And this is within the first principles of 37 principles. Yeah, you remember the number? What are the numbers?
444, 5, 7, and 8.
Oh, wonderful!
You've not come up with a lot yet.
Make sure you buy it. Yeah.
A few combinations.
Not yet.
Okay, so 444, 555, 7, and 8. So within that, the 444, 555, 7, and 8, we are on the first one, that is the Satipatthana, or the 4 foundations of a mindfulness. And within that 4 foundations of a mindfulness, now we are contemplating on the bodily contemplation. And within that bodily contemplation, we discussed the first part last session. And now today will be the second one. It's called iriyapada. So bodily movement. So that's why in the practice of a meditation, we have to remember it is not just the sitting quietly and meditating on the breath. So last week we discussed on the breath. Now this here doesn't say anything about the breath. It says, when walking, he clearly knows I am walking. Huh? How do we know? Am I walking? I am walking. How do we know?
Being mindful.
Yeah. So normally when you are walking, are you mindful of your walk? And then the second one, when standing, he clearly knows I am standing. Do you know that you are standing? And then nisinno, so sitting, when you are sitting, you know that I am sitting. Do you know that you are sitting? Now all these 3 stages, and then the last one is the sayano, the sleeping or lying down. At that time, do you know that? Normally when we lie down, what normally we do? We are thinking this or that until we get to sleep. Once you go into the sleep mode, then there is no thinking. Is that true? We are still having some thoughts there, okay? But we are not conscious of that. So there are 4 main postures: walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. So in those moments also we can practice meditation. Now in terms of the walking meditation, we used to do a lot as well, and in that practice of a walking meditation there are various ways of doing it. And in that in the practice that we normally practice here, it has 6 stages of a walking meditation. Lynn has practiced all those 6 levels over the period of time. So these are 6 stages of a walking meditation that we practice. And sometimes people even ask that Buddha didn't say that there are 6 stages of a walking meditation. Why we are doing that slow motion? And obviously in the discourses Buddha didn't mention it, that you have to do these stages like that, but commentaries does. Some of the commentaries does explain, and the reason behind is simply that each one of us has got the different temperaments. different mental states. Someone can observe and then can focus quickly, others can't. Let's imagine the view of, suppose you're watching football, and then who is the famous one now? He hits the ball, goes through through this goalkeeper, and then went into the net. If this ball going into the net, if it's not slow motion and you're watched like that, you will not recognize that it went into the net. Suppose there is no net, how do you know the ball went through this post, inside the post? You can't, because it's so fast, right? But because of the net there, we don't have to think about it, whether the ball went through the post or not. Right? In order to see, suppose there is no net, in order to see that a ball went through this net, you have to make it slow, right? Slow motion. Then you know that this ball went through the gate, say this post, and that becomes a goal. Similar scenario here, our mind. It works so fast, so difficult to chase it, so difficult to follow it. Now, in order to see that detail of these things happening, so we have to make it slower as much as possible. Then we see little dots, how it comes into the lines. So that's why that is the one way of doing it. And that's for us, like which one, a third level or fourth level one for us. So we need this slow walking, slow movements, and doing it. Can be very bored, can be very dull, and also maybe lots of this thinking coming into our mind. How on earth I'm doing this one? Why am I doing this so slow? It doesn't make any sense to me, like that. Those things will come. So need a lot of patience. Patiently walking, practice walking this meditation, walking, the different stages. Now, when you practice walking meditation, different stages, suppose you're doing a first level of a walking meditation, it will be fine, no problem with that one. And quite often you may have, I can do the second one. This first one is so easy. And then you move on to the second one. And then suppose you're doing a second one, somehow, you feel like you're doing the first one, like that. And then suppose you're doing a third one. Now, oftentimes you will be practicing although you have to do the third one, but sometimes, pretty much oftentimes you'll be doing either the first or the second. That is because our mind working so fast, and then unable to observe how when the things triggers, like eye sees, ear hears, and that moment, then suddenly it triggers, and then without knowing it, we have engaged with that, and then the motion that we've been walking changed into different levels. So that's why it takes quite a bit of a concentration and quite a bit of a patience as well. The beauty of that doesn't matter your thinking when you're doing a walking meditation at the initial stage, but we have the length of walking, like let's say from here to here. So we have a length that we have designated, from here I'm walking up to here. So that means when you started, you were mindful of one or two steps, then your mind off to think something, but you're still walking. You're doing a mindful walking meditation, but you're not mindful of your walk, but you're thinking of something. You continue walk, suddenly then it comes to the end of the walking this designated area, then you realize, oh, I've been thinking so much. I wasn't mindful of my walk, right? Then that's the beauty of it. So we start again. We start again doing it. Maybe one or two, gone again realize at the end of the walkway, and then start again. So with that, gradually this distraction or the thought, the mind that normally goes away remains. It become from a 1 to 2, 2 to 3, or maybe some days, sometimes, the whole way through. All the way through, that you can be mindful of that. And then, after 1 or 2, do not enjoy. Do not enjoy that. And then, yeah, I have done it. Then suddenly you again lose it. So, then again it goes back again. So again, coming back again, like that. So with that, practicing again and again, and gradually, this first level, if we have mastered the first level, then the rest becomes much easier. But if we haven't done it, because of, we have this intelligent mind that I am good at it, I can do it, and I remember it, and then intellectually we're taking it, that I know it, and we want to go to the next level. And then suddenly, oh, you are doing a next level. It's like, oh, yes, I am better. Like that. So that's why the first level is very important. We have grounded on, then the second level becomes much easier. And with that, the second level of a walking meditation, that also relates to our sitting meditation as well. You can have a cushion, M. Get the cushion there. In a sitting meditation, that also helps as well. And that also, you can see, when you are sitting, becomes much, much quieter. You can sit longer. You can sit longer, like that. Right? So, and then when we go to the third level, in the third level again, sitting meditation for 1 hour becomes like a piece of cake, because the mind becomes so focused. Focus here doesn't mean that focus on one object, but mind becomes like standing on a platform, but not losing the platform. And another simile I gave, I think I have given this simile, like an anchor. So your mind is anchored, boat is still floating. You're enjoying this floating boat. So you are in that state. You haven't lose yourself, but you're aware of everything what's happening now. And further on, after that stage, then we'll go on to the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So when you actually practice the 6th level, then that moment, there will be so many other questions that we normally ask a practitioner to confirm whether really you've been practicing. So that actually confirms the alertness of the mind, awareness of the things that arises, and then in the meantime there is equanimity, ability to let it be, and then coming back to the moment. At that moment again, quite often you may have, after you have given up, suppose you're meditating for 1 hour. So obviously in that stage, the sixth level, you will be walking 1 hour and sitting 1 hour. So equal balance. And when you are after you have done this walking and then come to sit down for a meditation for 1 hour, when you finished your sitting, there will be so many other pains in your body will come. But when you're meditating, you will not feel that pains. Okay? So, headache, the heaviness in your shoulders, and then the back here, and then this back, the lower back becomes so stiff. Not during the meditation, but when you stop doing it. So that's why after that, when you finish 1 hour, we have to mindfully open our eyes and then mindfully moving our hands slowly, mindfully standing up. So every little move becomes very mindful. And every movement, when you're moving, you see those tensions and the headaches or this pressure that's going through in your body slowly releases. But whereas if you stand up quickly or change your posture immediately, then that may last a little longer. So like that. Yeah, so that's a walking meditation, that different stages of doing it. Now, that is the first level of doing walking meditation. Right? It has more detail in it. After you have walked in it, later on, it's not a right and a left. It's not my leg and this leg. There will be only movements. Right? Movements of your legs. And not only the movements of your leg, you will be contemplating on the different elements of it. The air element, the heat element, the earth element, the water element. Now here, you're not thinking of that. It simply becomes relevant. So that's why sometimes you may say, where is my leg? It's like you're limping. But conceptually, there is no leg now, because you are seeing this as the element. And this, able to observe that, because the mind becomes so, although we're doing slowly, but it works so fast. Physically, let's say, in a conventional level, we are doing very slow, but in an ultimate sense, our mind is working so sharp and so alert and so awake. You will be able to recognize these little things in that very moment. Right? So according to the Buddhist principles, when mind works 17 times, then one material thing arises. Like that. So that's why that moment, again, it comes to the stage of contemplating on these 4 elements. Now, let's say, suppose you put your hands like this, your hand like this, it won't move. It's become very heavy. So the nature of this heaviness is the earth element. Earth element. Now, in order to lift this hand, you have to create your intention in your mind. So first, conventionally, you conceiving this is there, and then intentionally you wish to move it. So your mind is shifting towards here, and then creating this intention to move. Okay? And then this won't move itself. Now, in order to move again, it has a water element that is combining all this together. Without the water, it won't stay. It will be just like a dust, right? Like that. So that also will be able to recognize. And in the meantime, you will be able to see the heat. So heat could be the hot or the cold. A cold also heat element. So you're able to notice that. Now, when you move, lifting it, again, at that moment, again, you will be lifting this earth element as the earth. And this ability to lift because of the air element. Without the air, you can't move. Right? So that's why when we look at the discourses, the Buddha's instruction is, when we are walking it, it's not a physical walk. Actually, we are contemplating on the primary object is the air element here. Air element allowing us to blink our eyes, allowing us to move our mouth, allowing us to move our body from one place to another. Same with our body. It's the same with our feet. See? So that's how it goes into detail in this way. Now here, when I say these, does that mean we have to think on that? No. We are not thinking, or we are not searching for it. Our job is to practice slowly. So the instruction is right goes thus, left goes thus. Right? Right goes thus, left goes thus. That's the simple way of practicing. And as our mind slowly come into the presenceness with these movements, then gradually we see the different stages of it, and then see these elements eventually. Even like when you are, suppose, lifting and moving forward, during the moving forward you can feel this pressure from the air as well. Pressure, it's like the flight having a crush with these clouds. Similar way, I will be feeling that. And that's why when we move, initially you feel different feeling, and then here will be different feelings because of the air moving through, and then your feeling is different, like that. So these are the little things that you can observe as well. And this is how we practice. But meantime, there are other ways of a practice too that is practiced. Like in Thailand, there's a forest tradition. So in the forest tradition, when you're walking, you're not supposed to slow. You simply walk. Mindful, you're walking. And sometimes you are instructed to contemplate on certain dhammas or certain aspects of the teachings, and then you're walking. And other times you were asked to recite the word Buddha. So as you walk, Buddha, 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 constantly, so that there is no chance that mind will have any gaps to think of any other things. So constantly reciting that as you walk. And then there are other ways of doing that, certain steps, like particular practice that Ajahn Mun, like him, his picture is here. So he practiced 26 steps. So he walks 26 steps, stops, and then comes back, and then stops 26 steps. And then some tradition, some monks, not tradition, some monks again instruct to say before you start, paying respect to the Buddha, reciting the Buddha's virtues, and then it's like bringing all this energies, so-called energies from the Buddha or teachers or the universe coming into you, and then practice of a walking meditation, that as well. But in my understanding, I think the 6 steps and then contemplating on little detail, that is the purpose of the practice, so that we develop this understanding of this is not my leg. This is made of a 4 element, and this is the object that always is changing. I should not be attached to it. So I think this is the right one, or maybe it appears to me. Right? So that's the way. So that is the walking meditation. Okay. Anything before I move on to other? Anybody wants to?
What was level 6?
Oh.
Unless we skipped that part.
Well, I didn't explain after the 3rd one. See. So okay. 3rd one is lifting, moving, placing. So 3 stops. Okay. So lifting, moving, placing. 4th one, heels up. So the toes are still touching. So heels up, lifting, moving, touching.
And come back down on the toe.
No, whichever way.
Okay.
Okay. And then the 5th one, heels up, lifting, moving, lowering, and then touching. Right? And then the sixth one is pressing. Touching and pressing. Now, this lowering, it seems maybe inch or two, right? But when you practice, it becomes very long. Huh?
It's amazing how difficult it
Yeah.
actually is. I remember when we used to do much more walking meditation,
Yeah.
and I would feel like I was going to fall over, and I would be like, "Oh, I'm going to fall over," because it is. But you are so much more aware of, because it's so, each movement is so minute that it just becomes, yeah, it is much.
Torture.
It's much harder than you think it's going to be actually.
Yeah.
I used to like when we did it outside, like when we used to go outside sometimes and do it
Yeah.
as well, because like the different textures on the ground and things. And then I remember we did it down the road once because you were like, "Oh, it's good practice to watch out for the potholes and everything." Be mindful of all the like holes in the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So, okay.
Level 6 is much harder than it's going to be.
Again, obviously, now when we are practicing, let's say we are doing the third level, then we have to be mindful that I am walking on the third level. So consciously being aware, I am walking the third level. So constantly reminding you as well. Otherwise, you've slipped away to some other levels. So that's why the more you go up to higher, and then you're able to contemplate on that and mindful of that, that also signifies of your concentration. That's why, because of that, it's much easier to meditate when you're sitting. Now, there is another thing I just got into my head now. Sitting meditation, easier to go into the concentration, but it doesn't last long. Right? It doesn't last long. Straight away, there will be other distractions will come in. Now, walking meditation, it takes a longer time to develop your concentration. But once established, it lasts longer.
I always found when we did a walking meditation and then when we sat down to meditate, the difference was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, in the
In what way?
just so much more
Easy to concentrate.
Just so much easier.
Easy to focus, easy to ground it.
Yeah, which is why I think you always used to get us to do that after we'd done the walking part, because the difference was amazing, because everything was just, you were much more connected and so much more mindful that you could just sit down and it was just so much easier. Sometimes when I sit down it's like a struggle, and like you were saying today, it's a bit trickier for you today, and I can relate to that kind of struggle, and sometimes it is really difficult, and whereas I think when you have a walking meditation and then you go to sit down, it's just it's just so much easier, and you just feel so much more connected.
Easy to focus and easy to ground it. Yeah.
So should we be practicing walking meditation every day as well?
Should.
Well, would it?
Advisable. It's advisable to do, and if you have a time in your okay, it's always good. And then normally the instruction is that if you are going to sit for half an hour, walk half an hour, and then like 1 hour sitting, then walk 1 hour, like that. Now, this half an hour walking sounds long time, but if you are onto it, like here in this room, if you walk from first level to the third level, you would have only walked 3 times each stages. So first level you will have chance to walk only 3, second level 3, third level 3, done, half an hour. like that. So half an hour passes so quickly if we are really onto the practice, like that. And in the meantime, if your mind is mind has a lot of distractions, then this half an hour can be very torturing. Okay, very torturing as well. So,
Bit of something what we're looking for.
okay.
Actually.
It's not just the mental torture. Because of this wanting to finish it, it can cause the physical pains as well. It's like a pain in your soles here, and then tense in your muscles here as well, and then also tense in your shoulders as well. So there's so many things that come up in the practice. That's why in this insight meditation practice, that's why it doesn't matter what you experience. You just experience it. Do not hold on to it. You recognize, just leave it. Recognize, leave it. You're not taking. It's like you're not taking it and put it in your rucksack and holding it. No. Whatever you experience, know it, drop it. Know it, drop it. Like that. Yeah? So with that, then gradually it becomes a normal. Spatial but normal. Like that. Okay. So I think we have covered on the walking this far. Maybe next time we will do a walking meditation. Actually, in the past, I did not give much talkings. Normally, I lead more practice. But it's been a couple of years. I spend more time explaining, like that. Okay, right. Anything you want to ask or add before we practice loving kindness meditation to finish up? So in that case, we have covered only first one. That's the I am walking. On the second aspect of this practice of the body, 4 postures. Okay. So within that, there's Bodhipakkhiyadhamma. Yeah? So that's 4, 4, 5, 5, 7, and 8. In that, the first one and subdivision of that first. So that's when walking, clearly knowing that I am walking. So with this, now let's practice loving kindness meditation to finish up. So spend some time on tonight's discussion. And now we'll practice loving kindness meditation. So bring attention to feel any sensations in your body. You may take a long deep breath and feel, experience any sensations. And bring that attention to your hands. Feel the sensations in your hands. And to your heart. Feel the beating heart. As you feel the connection with your heart generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself. And if you struggle to feel the connection with your heart, physically smiling will connect you. And generating loving thoughts and compassion to yourself. And you may mentally recite the words, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be free from suffering, may I be liberated, liberated. As you recite these words, try to feel the connection. Similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, starting from near dear one or any particular person that you think they need the most at the moment. So bring into your mind of that person and sharing this loving thought and compassion to that person. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be at peace. May you be free from suffering. May you be liberated, liberated. Similarly, expanding this sharing of loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, whatever beings in this room, in this city, in this country, on earth, in the universe, visible and invisible beings. Wishing them well, happiness, free from suffering. Whatever beings there are, may they be well. May they be happy. May they be at peace. May they be free from suffering. May they be liberated. May they be able to maintain their happiness. May all beings be happy. Now bring your attention back to your hands. Feel the sensations in your hands. And to your body. Feel the sensations in your body. And to your eyes. Creating intention to open your eyes and come out from the practice as you hear the gong. And slowly open your eyes and back to the room and reflect for a few moments. Let's be respectful to Peter. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhaṃ Bhagavantaṃ Abhivademi Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammaṃ Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami.